Oh, hey there. Welcome back to VG Emporium. Might have to start doing a loyalty punch card thing or something, you know, because y'all keep coming back. Maybe every 10 punches, you get a free E-Tank. Or maybe a bobblehead of your favorite composer. Just a weird little idea, something to work on. Now, you may be wondering, what is this warbly, hissy, guitar-y thing I'm hearing? Well, this is Frenology, Insane in the Skull, a remix by Eriw of Skullmans stage from Megaman 4. And this is the very first remix I ever heard, way back in the bygone year of 2005. Huh! It shouldn't feel that long ago, but thus is the way of it is. Now, I'm pretty sure most everybody in the VGM listening community should know about video game music remixes, and a lot of them could pinpoint to OverClocked Remix, which is the big one, where like the really high quality stuff is going on. And then there's been other places like VGMix and The Sauce, and there's probably a few other that I'm not naming that are, that people know of. But the one I have not heard mentioned in anywhere, and there's only been a few people I've encountered online that have that recognize it when I bring it up, is OverLooked Remix, which is where this remix is from. And its main focus was kind of not that great sounding, or ones that are just ridiculously bad, or remixes that didn't quite meet the standards of the other remixing sites. But majority of stuff that is on this site is stuff that is just intentionally bad, to be made to be hilarious, want to make people laugh, or kind of upset people because of how bad it is, that it's so good, it's bad, it's bad, it's so good. And that's kind of their motto. I mean, first thing you see when you get onto their website is OverLooked Remix is dedicated to ridiculous interpretations of video game music and video game culture. Our mission is to entertain, heckle, annoy, and insult video game fans. Please enjoy. And anytime I'd get access to a computer with internet, either it be at the public library or at the computer lab at my high school during lunchtime, the first site I would go to would be OverLooked Remix to see what new delightful crap was posted that day. And this place fed my soul like nothing had ever done before. I didn't really care for much music back then. Mostly what I did like was video game music, but a stupid me, I never thought to take a tape player with a recorder on it and actually put it next to the speaker and record it so I could actually have it on the go, but is what is. Now, to tell you a bit about this remixer, Eriw, she is actually one of the co-founders of OverLooked Remix. And she's also a member of a NES metal band called Game Over, where she goes by the name Wire. So Eriw is backwards of Wire, so there you go. And if she ever happens to listen to this by some strange chance, I just want to give her the greatest of gratitudes for helping a wayward teen find something to just give enjoyment to his life. And it was a really big part of my life. It helped to further my taste in electronic music, so it helped further my passion for video game music, and also pushed me to want to actually make music too, because hearing all this stuff being made and how are they doing this? It sounds cool, but I don't know how to do this. So maybe seek it out and figure it out. But enough of this shopkeeper's ramblings of reminiscence. We're gonna move on to the next track here. It is In Shining Armor, a remix of the title and ending theme from Wizard and Warriors on the NES by Vindklast.
I've been up, be nice. I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd. I've been up, be nice. You went quiet. You're yelling at me. You went quiet. I've been up, be nice. You went quiet. I'm a knight in shining armor. I've been up, be nice. I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd. I said no, be nice. You went quiet. You're ruining it. You went quiet. I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd. I'm a knight! In shining armor! I'm a knight! I will kill you! I'm a knight in shining armor! I'm a nerd. You went quiet. You're ruining it. You're ruining it. I will kill you! I'm a knight in shining armor! I'm a nerd. You went quiet. You're ruining it. You're ruining it. I will kill you!
You just listened to In Shining Armor, a remix of the title and ending theme from Wizard and Warriors on the NES by Vindklast. And this was part of the first batch of remixes uploaded to the site on March 6th of 2005. And as you could tell by this remix, it was off to an amazingly wonky craptastic start. And I remember kind of chuckling when I heard the little sample of the "I'm a nut." It kind of sounded like me of Timmy from South Park, but then when that guy shouted, "I'm a knight!" I just remember laughing out loud, the hardest I ever did, and I think I disturbed to some folks. Now to kind of give some context to the timeline here, so I found Frenology probably in the early summer of 2005, and that only had come out in May, and then this site started back in March, so I discovered this site shortly after it had started, and it already had a catalog, a big catalog of just these ridiculous remixes, and so I just dove right in and just slathered myself in just all this ridiculousness goodness. And the way I found it was because I was trying to find the music for Megaman 4, because that was my first Megaman game, and I just wanted to hear the music from it, and I stumbled upon it at my local library, and I was just in bliss. Because this site was basically kind of like a Weird Al for video game music. And I was kind of raised on Weird Al as a wee little mite, so, this was one of the greatest things. I feel this is a nice little segue to kind of, we'll dive into the submission guidelines here. So, at OverLooked Remix, we're trying to compile an archive of the best of the bizarre. While it's remarkably difficult to describe what we're looking for, it's necessary evil that we've tried to accomplish as best as we can. The following is a list that describes the nature of music accepted at our site. The song is clever, unique, unusual, and well-made. The song captures the classic, campy spirit of video game music roots. The song is funny, hilarious, either in general or by accomplishing an innovative original joke or prank. Mixes that will not be accepted are ones that excessively clip. Think of our poor, damaged ears. MIDI rips. So basically just taking a MIDI made by somebody already and then just placing instruments over it and then just putting it up there. Or that rips that are directly from the OST, so using direct music from the original music. Now for the last section, oh shut up! Don't take this site too seriously. We sure don't. If you've been rejected, it just means you suck at sucking, which isn't really all that horrible a thing, is it? Maybe yes. Maybe no. Or maybe it's just time to take all that and just put it in the old dump truck and drive on over to the next remix, which is Return to Wilys, remix of Wily Castle Stage 1 from Megaman 2 on the NES, remixed by the mighty saxophonist himself, Xenon Odyssey. Well, hope you didn't make too much of a mess of yourself and that you're still conscious after that one. That was Return to Wilys, remix of Wily Castle Theme 1 from Megaman 2 by Xenon Odyssey. And the reason as I called him the almighty saxophonist was because the first remix he submitted to OLR was of this same track called Wily Saxophone. So there you have it, and it just stuck and showed up in other remixes he posted, or posted with other people's or mentions of them. So yeah, just kind of like cool, fun little silly thing there. And I'll just say that this remix that's playing, I played for you right now, is actually from a year after he had submitted that first one. So this is 2006, the first one was 2005, and there was a huge jump in his abilities with the saxophone. Almost said saxophone again. And here, I'll play you a little clip of the first one here so you can kind of get an idea of just how much improvement he has done within a year. And there you have it. Practice makes perfect. So I have some information on Xenon here. So after, I think he still did some remixes for OLR, but he also moved on over to OverClocked remix and did some, I think I found about the 6, so like from 2009 to 2018. And then, but for primarily, he now does like Famitracker original like NES chip tunes that he posts up on SoundCloud that are actually really good. And I'll put the link to his to SoundCloud underneath this track here so you can go check him out. So now this site was my first encounter with like online community. So actually getting to see people interacting, like occasionally seeing like the comments on tracks, or like the comments like the judges would make and stuff, and then I would occasionally go into the forum to kind of see what conversations were going on. But I never really engaged with it because I've always kind of like been shy like to socially interact, and I was just starting to get over that. And then here's this new form of interacting, and I'm just like, oh, what am I to do with this? So I just lurked. I lurked, and that's pretty much what I've done pretty much since then. Is just lurked on sites or like forums and stuff, just to kind of see things going on or information, interacting. Kind of did a little bit, have spurts here and there, but it's still just like really strong today. And I'm kind of trying to break that, partly with doing this podcast, and I've been really doing it with like, a couple of podcast discords, and really like on Twitter, trying to interact more with other like creators and peoples like that. And just, yeah, it's been a troubled thing for me. And just, like I said, this is my first encounter, and it just kind of was, some new thing. And you heard me mention judges. On this site, they're referred to as the shitty judges. There's a little more to that name, but I'm not going to say it here because it's, not a very savory word to say. But they were basically the admins of the site, and, kind of control like what got, the submissions that came in, what got accepted and everything. And their names, the 5 of them, are Eriw, which you've heard that first remix, Divisible by Waffle, Richter, Vindklast, and Xenon Odyssey. As the fellow that you're hearing right now. At least that's the current roster that's up on the site right now. But I think there was some different people on there before when I started listening to it, but that was nearly 20 years ago, and small stuff like that, it's kind of hard to remember. I'm an old man. Let me take a little sip of my pep step. Oh yeah. Yes, pep step. When you're feeling a little slow and jangly, just take a sip of Pep Step, and it'll put a little zip to your day. And what also put a zip in your day is this next track I got for you. Or it may also hit a little slow down your pep. We'll see. This one is called Crystlolz, a remix of the Prelude theme from Final Fantasy VI by Mythril Nazgul.
I can feel it in my penis.
that was 100% pure grade C for crap. OLR right there. That was Crystlolz, a remix of the Prelude theme from Final Fantasy VI by Mythril Nazgul. And this is exactly the kind of stuff that OverLooked Remix was made for. And what OLR was made for was basically trolling the other remixing sites like OverClocked Remix and VGMix and The Sauce, because they were getting a little too, in the eyes of some of the people that started this site, kind of too up there, hoity-toity kind of, their standards were way too high, a little too, exclusive to some people, something I'm not really sure, on the whole, stuff that was going on there, but yeah. Basically, OLR was just them trolling other remixing sites to say, here we are, we're just letting people post their crap here, and we love it. And it's also kind of like the beginning of, I see is musical shit posting, if you're familiar with that on SoundCloud. For example, the whole 7 Grandad thing, the ROM hack that has the image of Mario, a weird blue, white, and red Mario on the title screen, and people just take that Flintstones opening music from that game and just insert it into other music, and some of it's actually really good, and I might have to make a whole episode about that because it's really fascinating to me. I don't know, for some reason I love it. I love it. And this kind of stuff that this site has just made me is just the weirdest, most bizarre shit that you can imagine, just people putting out. I'm there and I'm gonna listen to it and I'm gonna enjoy it. And holy shit, I'm just gonna get it out here right now. It's goddamn January, and I think my allergies are starting to kick in because it's 60 degrees outside in here, California. The grass is green, things are, I think, starting to bloom, and my seasonal allergies, which usually don't start until April, are starting to start. And it's kind of worrying me because I'm gonna have my allergies going on all year long if this is what's happening. Because I'm pretty sure you've heard me sniffing throughout this thing, and you're probably going to hear me sniff a little bit more throughout this. That's why. Fun times abound. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, not much I know about Mythril Nazgul, other than that he did a Earthbound remix with 4 other guys. They called themselves the Crazy Crackers, and it was made up of Mythril Nazgul, Joe Cam, Deluxe, and Flick. And it was really good. It's called The Black Market. It was on OLR was touted as the first remix to show up on all 3 remix sites, because it met all the criteria for all of them. So that'd be OverClocked Remix, VGMix, and OverLooked Remix. And it was made for I think a tribute album that was hosted by OverClocked Remix called Bound Together, which was a bunch of remixers that did, of course, remixes of Earthbound music. And his bit on that remix is actually my second favorite part of the remix, and it goes a little something like this. How you living, Big Myth? I'm having trouble with my tribble. Shit smells so foul, you can call it double dribble. In fact, I make a triple. Got beef, we call it mutton. Nice. Moving through the vents, a 3 in Charlie Dutton. And there's 4 or 5 more bars after that, and it's just really nice, kind of fast-paced, ridiculous rapping. And then but my favorite part of it is from Flick, and you're just gonna have to go check it out to hear him do it, because he just does it. It's ridiculous. And I know I haven't talked much about the remix itself, or about the remixes themselves, but, it's just kind of, things I listened to, and they were kind of just part of my life, and I don't know how to explain them. It's just, they're here, and I love them. A good way to put it is that these are playing on the oldie station in my head. Now let's keep moving. The next remix I have for you in the cart here is a little more on the normal side. It's That's a One Ugly Baby, a remix of the map theme and Flower Garden from Yoshi's Island on the SNES by Dasaten. Now that was good, but I think it needed more Crying Baby. Don't you agree? That's a Wanna Ugly Baby, a remix of the map theme and Flower Garden from Yoshi's Island, remixed by Dasaten. This guy is probably like the second most prolific remixer on the site. He's active from like 2006 to 2012, and yeah, like all his remixes are just like better and better and better and better. Like, and they all either feature the bass or the melodica or some kind of combination of like these wind instruments, and sometimes a little more electronic. But yeah, every remix by Dasaten is, pretty dang solid. And he's still doing bass covers and remixes of video game music on his YouTube channel, which I'm going to link in the show notes. And I would highly encourage you to go check him out because he's really good. And I just love the tone that he's gone with on his bass, and it's pretty consistent through all his remixes. But note that I said that he is the second most prolific remixer on OverLooked Remix. The title for most prolific goes to Wilys, which is the next remixer we're going to be listening to. And that is Deep Down Below, a remix of the underground theme from Super Mario Bros. With some dialogue sprinkled in from the Metal Gear Solid series and a couple other little tidbits by Wilys.
I hear it's amazing when the famous purple stuffed worm in Flapjaw Space with the tuning fork does a raw blink on Harry Carey Rock. I need scissors. 61.
Controller port. Plug your controller into controller port 2. If you do that, he won't be able to read your mind.
Thank you, Barry.
Yeah.
Congratulations!
That was Deep Down Below, a remix of the underground theme from Super Mario Bros. With some Metal Gear Solid dialogue sprinkled in there, and a congratulation from King of Fighters 98 at the very end, remixed by Brunzolaitis. And the main reason I chose this track that he did is because that little sample at the end, the congratulation, was like I was just fascinated with that. I was like, what is this? And so I just looked, found it. Finally found out it was like a voice sample from King of Fighters 98. So I went to, I think it was KH Insider, to find the MP3s of like the whole soundtrack, and I found the little sound test at the very end, and it was there, and I just got it, and I was like, yeah, I have it. And I didn't know what to do with it until finally I got a cell phone about 2012 or so, which actually I could import the MP3 into, and it has been my text alert tone for the last 10 years. So every time I get a text, it's congratulations. A little correction here. It was actually from KOF 97 that sample is from. So yeah, just so you know, I'm correcting myself here. KOF 97, not 98. 97. Now this Brunzolaitis fella, when I say prolific, I mean prolific. I think within the span of 5-6 years, he submitted over 102 remixes to OverLooked Remix. It's some madness. And actually, this remix is a little more tame compared to his usual stuff, which is a little more like, you know, like your standard 4-to-the-floor techno madness jams. A lot of vocal samples going all over the place, just loud and over the top. Not much more I can tell you about old Brunzo here, other than the fact that he was about the same age as I was, so like, 16, 17 or somewhere around there. And yeah, he was making all this crazy electronic music, and I had no idea how he was doing it. And it wasn't until maybe like late 2006, after my graduation, that I stumbled upon FL Studio. And it was just a trial version, so I couldn't save any of my stuff. But I was just making stuff. I just made it straight shot, one shot stuff. And I was just fumbling about and figuring it out and just having a blast with it. So yeah, a big thanks to Brunzo for kind of kicking that into gear. Now I think it would be fun to kind of get into the rating system of this site. So of course you have the shitty judges, which are either approving or disapproving your submission. They put it up there. They'll maybe make a little comment or something. And then, people can also comment, leave maybe a little review of the track. But there are a little thing called the dump truck. And it was a way for individual users to just say, thumbs up, I like this. And I'm unsure of whether if the more dump trucks you had, the higher your rank, like your remixes rank in the list or something. But, maybe not. I think it was just more of just a way of showing support, showing that people liked it and supported your track. So yeah. Now, as I said, Brunzo, along with a few other the remixers on this site, inspired me to actually seek out a way how to actually make my own music. This next remixer I'm going to share with you actually helped me figure out another way of making music. So this next one is called Megaman's Universal Gravitation, a remix of Gravity Man's theme from Mega Man 5 on the NES by Tom Appella. That was Megaman's Universal Gravitation, a remix of Gravity Man's theme from Mega Man 5 by Tomapella. And this has got to be one of my favorite remixes of his, though it's not his first one. The first one he did was of Plock, and it was like, same thing, kind of like acapella, more simpler. But yeah, this one is just so nice and clean, and it kind of triggered something in my head to make me wonder, like, whoa, if he could do, like, he has the ability to record multiple tracks of himself doing this, but also timed well. I don't have a way of doing this. Maybe there's a way I could figure out where I could do it all at once. And so, to give some context, I had some familiarity with beatboxing. I've heard about it. Some people talk like, of course, some of Michael Jackson stuff, but and then of course acapella. People think about never like put them together. And as growing up as a kid, I was always making like weird noises and stuff. And then as soon as I got access to the internet, I started discovering all these different kinds of musics. And one of them was like drum and bass and electronic music, like really drum heavy type, like electronic musics. And I started imitating those sounds. And then once I heard this remix, I started thinking like maybe I can start adding melodic stuff along with that, but I don't have a way to multi-record myself. So I'm gonna actually show you an example of me doing what I currently do now, like what I figured out back then. It's gonna be a little rough because of my theoretical maybe allergies, and I have toilet paper stuck up my nose. But here it is, my version of Gravity Man's theme. A little rougher than I'd like, but I'm not using the right mic really, and also this whole weird allergy thing happening in January. But yeah, there it is. This is what listening to Tomapella's remixes kind of steered me towards. That's the thing. Like, this site, OverLooked Remix, was, like, again, like I said in the beginning, very formative to me. And also, by this time, in 2006 or so, I was, I found other remixes. I found Maze Dude. I did start listening to Overclocked Remix too, because, I found it through this site. And, but this place taught me that not everything has to be, like, just perfectly produced or made or whatever. You can just make it. It can be rough as hell. It could be just, like, ridiculous, weird, and all that stuff. And, there's going to be people who will listen to it and, honestly enjoy it. So, it's kind of like, I've kind of carried that with me throughout, like these last, just a few years short of 20. God damn. But enough of that. So about Tomapella here, I just now found out that he is still doing stuff. He has a YouTube, and is mostly just doing like the latest videos I've seen are game runs, like playing playthroughs and all. And he's also still producing music, here and there, and also some Family Tracker tunes as well. So it's cool to see. I haven't seen any like his acapella stuff on there, but I'm hoping this is the same guy. I'm gonna still link it. I'm gonna try to contact him, find out, and then if I am, I'm gonna put a note in the things and say, Oh, that was not him, but I'm pretty sure this is him because the voice sounds very similar to this voice right here. So I'm pretty sure. So, you know, Tom, if you listen to this, a big fucking thank you to you. A big thank you for helping to set me on the path to becoming the strange beatbox appella thing that I am. Oh boy, severe waves of nostalgia crasheth. And we're gonna keep riding that wave into our next remix here, which is Pumple Dixie, a remix of the Duckburg stage theme from Quackshot on the Sega Genesis by Naze. Now, if and that weren't a wacky razzmatazz of a tune. That was Pumple Dixie, remix of Duckburg stage theme from Quackshot on the Sega Genesis, remixed by Naze, or is it Naze? I'm not sure. And this was some just extreme balls to the wall wackiness that my ears crave. And Naze's remix is just like, each one of them are just like this, like just all over the place, just changing instrumentation, just weird samples, everything all over the place, just wacky, just getting wackier with each remix. And just, you know, I think I would have to say this, he is my favorite remixer that was on OLR because of just like the sheer variety and surprising quality of these tracks that he's remixed. But no matter how quality they may sound, each one of them just has like some kind of ridiculousness thing to it. Like this one, you know, has the laughing in it. A lot of them has them just like, you know, going and just, it's, yeah. I don't know, but I did find him, he's still making music, I think, under the name Skoshu on SoundCloud, and it's still just as good. Like, you know, Maybe not a little bit as ridiculous, but still just as good. So, I'm gonna link him in the show notes, so go check him out. I'd just like to make a little note before moving on to our last remix of the show. All the profile pictures, I can't remember if there were ever actually any profile pictures for the remixers, but right now, if you go to the site, you'll see almost all the profile pictures for the remixers now are of this image of this orange cat in space and with big white letters saying, and I apologize for the foul language, "Fuck, I'm in space," as referenced in this little clip right here.
Oh fuck, I'm in space, said the orange cat.
And it is for sure going to be on the title card, as you've probably already seen. And that little clip I played was from a remix called Like That, which was a remix of the Donkey Kong theme. And it was basically like a remix, like naming off all like the different remixers that were part of the community at that time. I want to say this is like done like 2006, maybe like late 2005 or something. But yeah, just referencing us all, and just kind of like a nice little joke thing. And it was done by a couple fellas. One of them I won't name here because I think I've used up my F-bomb quota for the day. But the other one is actually the remixer of the last track I'm going to be playing for you today. This one, now this is the number one on the top 11, the cream of the crap. This here is Huis Belmont, a remix of Vampire Killer from Castlevania on the NES, remixed by DMS.
Since time immemorial, the Belmont clan has stood in opposition to Dracula. Every 100 years, Dracula would rise from his grave, and the Belmont would be there to stop him. This is the story of year 47.
Huis Belmont, Huis Belmont, Belmont too cool to fight Dracula. Put down whip and equip spatula. Can't fight Drac if the Belmont dies. Touching ladies' thighs to keep the name alive. Doesn't fight Dracula, only makes pancakes. Would be a hero, he's 4.5 decades left. Huis Belmont's tough. Get down, Huis Belmont's rough. Oh really? Yeah, oh really? Yeah, oh really? Yeah, oh really? Oh really? Yeah, oh really? Yeah, oh really? No way can't fight Dracula with pass it around. Doesn't fight Dracula, only fights boredom. Come on now, bachelorettes, you can't ignore him. He's Whis. He's Whis. Oh, here we go. Whis Belmont. Whis Belmont. Whis Belmont. Whis Belmont.
Yo, that was Huis Belmont, remix of Vampire Killer from Castlevania on the NES, remixed by DMS. And if you notice that jump, I did have to edit out a part of the song because it was, a little too bad, a little too much there. So yeah. And why did I refer to this as the cream of the crap? Because that is exactly what it is. It is the number one on the top 11 chart of OLR. And I have a little thing here from the actual page on it, and it says, in honor of our, oh my god, 300th remix, how about a rejected song? Here's the 300 more from the Judge Richter. And I can only imagine it got rejected because of the quality of it, maybe? Or maybe it got rejected on another remixing site for being, what it is. But I don't know. But here it is, like the most highly ranked and liked track on all of OLR. And this kind of fed me because I was into Weird Al, and I didn't care for songs with lyrics unless if it was parody because of growing up with Weird Al. So this was perfect because it's video game music remix and a parody. And yes, it is really crass, but hey, I was a teenager and I didn't know better, and I just couldn't help but find myself laughing at it because it was just funny and ridiculous. I mean, can you imagine? Like what are the Belmonts like, between the 100 years? What's that middle Belmont? What is he doing? How is he doing? Like this one, who knows? He could just be flipping pancakes and just, getting busy. Who knows? Konami doesn't give us this lore, so we gotta depend on the community for lore. And what a community this was, at a during that time of my life. It was a little turbulent, of course, anybody's time of life at that time is, but this was just kind of like a solid landing point for me to go to every single day, because there would always be at least one to maybe a few new remixes every day and just for me to enjoy, and they were always hilarious or really just enjoyable, like questionable qualities, but good stuff. And unfortunately, it seems to have kind of tapered off and died as of 2017, because that was when the last remix was posted, and the last major announcement was from 2016. So no longer, nobody's really posting there anymore, but it's still there. Everything, all the remixes are still there, playable. Somebody's keeping the server alive, so that's awesome. So you can go back and listen to everything on there if you wanted to. I have most of my favorite stuff already downloaded and burned onto multiple CDs, and now just in my hard drive. So yeah, but it's just really cool to know that this nearly 20-year-old site is still going, even though there's no activity on it. And I hope it doesn't disappear anytime soon, because this is a great site, for me, because I went into it with already a weird sense of humor, and it just helped feed that and grow it. And then of course it just gave me that spark to want to go seek out how to create music, and also my beatboxing as well as and just kind of helped expand my introduce me to all these new genres of music that I didn't know existed until I had access to the internet and this place, and just helped me find all kinds of cool things, just maybe go seek it out. I heard something, I was like, whoa, what is this? I'm gonna go find out what this is and go seek it out, and I found it and I loved it. And yeah, it's just like I said, I can't give this site enough praise for what it did for me at that time. So if anybody from that community, be it Remix or the one of the moderators, one of the judges, hears this podcast by any chance, again, I just want to thank you for just being as just ridiculous as people to just want to create a site where people just as ridiculous could just spew forth whatever madness they could. And yeah, the one major takeaway that I've tried to take with me throughout my life now is to just not take things so seriously. Don't if it's something that you create or just interested in, just don't be it doesn't have to be perfect. It just don't look at things so seriously. Be ridiculous. Just embrace the silliness of the world that that is around you. And I know things, there is time to be serious. There's a lot of very serious things going on in the world, but all the more reason just to let yourself be silly. And just be silly in love like I am, which leads into the subject of what will be the next episode. I'm going to be busy going out of town to Pacifica for with my wife and I. It's going to be Valentine / delayed anniversary vacation, and we're just going to go enjoy the ocean. And so in my place, there's going to be one of my many employees that help curate the VG Emporium here. He's a little on the, it could be a little much at times, but, he's a good guy. And his specialty is, let's say, tunes of the romantic variety. Though I can't quite say as to what his interpretation of it is, but I trust him. I know he's going to give you some pretty good tunes. And with that, I want to thank you for joining me on this little trip down memory lane. I've been Rage Cage, and you can find me on all kinds of social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and same with the VG Emporium. Twitter, Instagram. I'm going to be setting up a YouTube eventually, as well as Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. And I hope to see you in again here at VG Emporium. You have a good one.
Nowhere can't find Dracula with can't find Dracula with from the grave. We got like 45 years, villagers cool down. Got this Belmont DNA, gotta pass it around. Doesn't fight Dracula, only fights boredom. Come on now, bachelorettes, you